The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host. I'm your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, DMZ Broadcast Network, RM, what is it now, Craig? RMIB Network? Wow, that's a new one. They just came on board today, so I'm sorry about your call signs there. I promise I'll get it better. I really do. And, of course, radio stations around the world and satellite program providers. If you'd like to send an email, xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Stephen Dillard. Carroll, we've had the pleasure of having this young gentleman on before. And for those of you who may not have heard Stephen the last time, he's been a student of tarot for 5 years. He's read tarot since almost the beginning of his tutelage. He's read for family, friends, neighbors, strangers. He's met along the way. And he's with us tonight, and we're going to be talking to Stephen about many topics. Stephen's belief that we all have the answers inside of us for all of life's questions. It just sometimes we need outside help to guide us to those answers that are basically within ourselves. And that's what he does, and that's why he does tarot. Joining me now is Stephen Dillard. Carroll, and Stephen, welcome back to the show. How have you been since you and I had the last pleasure of talking together?
Well, I have been just fantastic, Rob. Thank you so much for having me back on the show. I remember our first conversation very fondly, and when I got the call from you, I did not hesitate to come back on with you and share with your energy this evening. So thank you for having me back. I really appreciate it.
The pleasure is all ours, Stephen. The pleasure is all ours. Tell me, Stephen, there's a lot of information out there about what a psychic is and what a psychic is not. And I was wondering if you could describe for us, in your opinion, what a psychic truly is.
Sure. I remember the last time we spoke, and I had just gotten off of a radio show within the last couple of days that it was readings, one after another after another. It was like speed reading, and at the end of it, I was simply exhausted. And I remember thinking to myself, and I shared this with you, that I am just not a magic 8-ball for people to shake and get an answer out of. Now, that's just me. A lot of, and in fact, tomorrow I'll be at a fair and festival where I will be doing that, probably in quick succession as well. But a psychic to me is someone that, well, we're all psychic. It's just that the only thing that differentiates me from the regular Joe Schmo on the street is that I have cultivated and worked out that muscle. We're all born with it. We're all born psychics. It's just that some people do it for a living, which is what I do.
Wow. So tomorrow you're going to a psychic event, and you know, I used to go to those all the time with the show, and there'd be table after table after table after table of psychics, tarot card readers, astrologers. And I also used to think to myself, well, wait a minute, if these people are all psychic, they must be telling the person who goes to them the same thing. And then I'd watch these people go from psychic to psychic to psychic to psychic to psychic. And I could always tell when they heard what they wanted to hear, because that would be the last psychic they went to.
Well, you know, and it's interesting that you worded it that way. You know, you worded it, they heard what they wanted to hear. And, you know, sometimes, I have the ethical responsibility to tell the truth. Sometimes the truth is pleasant and it's wonderful and it's life-affirming.
Right.
Sometimes the truth is a little bit harder, you know, and sometimes people want to hear the rainbows and unicorns and, you know, puffy white cloud kind of answers for their lives. And I hope to be able to do that for people, but if I can't, I can't.
All right, Stephen, stand by. Stephen, we've got to take our first commercial break. Please stand by. Stephen, Dillard, Carroll, and I will be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X-Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com. Welcome back, everyone. Stephen Dillard Carroll is my very special guest this hour. www.traveltarot.com. Why don't you tell us about the journey that led you to becoming a psychic, Stephen?
Well, that's actually an interesting story. It happened quite by accident, if you believe in such things as accidents. I was sitting around with my best friend, and almost 6 years now, and she said, how would you like to read my cards? And I said, well, I don't know how to do that. And she said, well, just look at the pictures and tell me what they say to you. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll do that. And so she pulled out her cards, and she read me first, and then I read her, and then she was like, yeah, wow, you're really good at this. And I really didn't think too much about it until a couple of months later when I was at my friendly neighborhood Barnes & Noble, and I was in the New Age section, and I just happened to come across some tarot cards, and I bought my first deck. I bought a few books concerning it, and that led me on the road that I'm on today.
What was it like the first time you actually sat down and read the cards for your friend? Did you have a natural feeling for what you were doing?
Well, that's interesting. I basically just looked at the pictures and said, okay, this is what I think the pictures might be saying about your life. I mean, because it was my best friend, it was a real low stress kind of a deal. You know, there was no expectations connected to it. But I didn't really feel anything. It was just an adventure to begin with. There wasn't the skies did not open, angels did not sing a heavenly chorus the first time. But certainly after that, when I started doing it on my own, I started to hear more because I was working that muscle more.
What muscle? You've used the word. I use that muscle more. And which muscle are you using?
Well, it's not really a muscle, but I mean, it's sort of like when I say that we're all born psychic, it's true. You know, if we ever had an imaginary friend when you were growing up, that's psychic. If you, as an adult, have a hunch, or you women's intuition, or anything like that, it's actually psychic ability coming through. And so, for me, the way that I do it is I carry on conversations with Spirit. Just like I'm carrying on a conversation with you, Spirit will talk to me, and the more that I've been doing tarot readings, the more open, I guess, my mind has been to this, and so Spirit talks to me all the time when I'm in that particular zone. And so it's almost like, well, it really is. It's like a conversation between me and Spirit, just like I'm speaking to you tonight.
Now, when you hear the information or the message that comes from Spirit, is it in your third eye? Is it in your ear? Is it an impression that you have to translate?
It is a combination of me hearing it, like almost as if it's over the phone, like we are tonight. I hear it in my left ear, and as a matter of fact, my phone is on my left side tonight. So it's very much like that, and it's also an impression as well. When Spirit really wants to get my attention, it says, you must tell so-and-so this.
See.
When when it's just a general impression, I look at the cards and I get an impression off the cards. But it's generally a combination of both when I'm working with people.
Now, I know that there are different types of